samparam. Shutena buyasa rajan. Agadena yatamayam. Samyacharo sambadram te. Pratipam shraya asamparam. Shutena buyasa rajan. Agadena yatamayam. Very well. Samyacharo sambadram te. Pratipam shreya samparam. Shutena buyasa rajan. Agadena yatamayam. Samyacharo sambadram te. Pratipam shreya samparam. Shutena buyasa rajan. Agadena yatamayam. Samyachara sambadram te. Pratipam shreya samparam. Shutena buyasa rajan. Agadena yatamayam. Samyacharo sambadram te. Pam shreya samparam. Shutena buyasa rajan. Agadena yatamayam. Samyacharo sambadram te. Pratipam shreya samparam. Shutena buyasa rajan. Yagadena yatamayam. Samyacharo sambadram te. Pratipam shreya samparam. Shutena buyasa rajan. Agadena yatam. Samyacharo shambadram te. Pratipam shreya samparam. Shutena buyasa rajan. Agadena tamayam. Samyacha, just control. Rosham, anger. Badram, all good fortune. Te, to you. Pratipam, enemy. Shreyasam, of all goodness. Param, the foremost. Shrutena, by hearing. Bhuyasa, constantly. Rajan, my dear king. Agadena, by medicinal treatment. Yata, as. Amayam, disease. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. My dear king, just consider what I've said to you, which will act as medicinal treatment upon disease. Control your anger, for anger is the foremost enemy on the path of spiritual realization. I wish all God good fortune for you. Please follow my instructions. Everyone repeat response. My dear king, just consider what I've said to you, which will act as medicinal treatment upon disease. Control your anger, for anger is the foremost enemy on the path of spiritual realization. I wish all good fortune for you. Please follow my instructions. Seems the first therapy in anger management 5,000 years ago. I was thinking about that. Purport. Dhruva Maharaj was a liberated soul, and actually he was not angry with anyone. But because he was the ruler, it was his duty to become angry for some time in order to keep law and order in the state. His brother Uttama was without fault, yet he was killed by one of the yakshas. It was the duty of Dhruva Maharaj to kill the offender, life for life, because Dhruva was the king. When the challenge came, Dhruva Maharaj fought vehemently and punished the yakshas sufficiently. But anger is such that if one increases it, it increases unlimitedly. In order that Dhruva Maharaj's kingly anger not exceed the limit, Manu was kind enough to check his grandson. Dhruva Maharaj could understand the purpose of his grandfather, and he immediately stopped the fighting. The word Shrutena Bhuyasa in constantly hearing are very important in this verse. By constantly hearing about devotional service, one can check the force of anger, which is detrimental to the process of devotional service. Parikit Maharaj said that constant hearing of the pastime of the Lord is the panacea for all material diseases. Everyone, therefore, should hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead constantly. By hearing, one can always remain in equilibrium, and thus his progress in spiritual life will not be hampered. Dhruva Maharaj becoming angry with the miscreants was quite appropriate. There is a short story in this connection about a snake who became a devotee upon instruction by Narad, who instructed him not to bite anyone. Since ordinarily a snake's business is to fatally bite other living entities, as a devotee he was forbidden to do so. Unfortunately, people took advantage of his non-violence in the part of the snake, especially the children, who began to throw stones at him. He did not bite anyone, however, because it was the instrument of his spiritual master. It was the instruction of his spiritual master. After a while, when the snake met his spiritual master, Narad, he complained, "I have given up the bad habit of biting innocent living entities, but they are mistreating me by throwing stones at me." Upon hearing this, Narad Muni instructed him, "Don't bite, but do not forget to expand your hood as if you are going to bite. Then they will go away." Similarly, a devotee is always non-violent. He is qualified with all good characteristics. But in the common world, when there is a mischief made by others, he should not forget to become angry, at least for the time being, in order to drive away the miscreants. Translation. My dear king, just consider what I've said to you, which will act as a medicinal treatment upon the disease. Control your anger, for anger is the foremost enemy on the path of spiritual realization. I wish all good fortune for you. Please follow my instructions. Incidentally, on the second part of that paragraph, Prabhupada speaks about Narad Muni initiating a snake. I was telling this pastime to my Bhakti Shastri class the other Sunday, and I was thinking, where did I get the reference from? I was hoping they don't ask me for the reference, because but it was in a subconscious mind to stay. But now I'm reading it here, and it's just like Prabhupada said it. Yes, so it's gospel. It wasn't a figment of my. So we were glorifying Narad Muni, how he's always there to give guidance and to all the great, in the case of Dhruva Maharaj, he initiated Dhruva Maharaj. In the Ramayana we see, what's his name? Who wrote the Ramayana? Valmiki, yes. Valmiki was also a bad person. And Narad Muni also preached to him and made him. Narad Muni told him to chant Rama, Rama. But he was so contaminated, he couldn't even say Rama, Rama. He said Haram, Haram. But still he got benefit of that. Sorry, Mara, Mara. Thank you. Haram. Haram is also Rama. Thank you. Rama, Rama. Mara, Mara. Yes. Mara, Mara. Yes. But still he became perfect. He wrote the Ramayana. Amazing, isn't it? So like that, Narad Muni has many interactions with different personalities. Mirgari, the Anta, who was so sinful, isn't he? Showed him the frailties of his killing, not innocently killing animals, putting them to such suffering. So in that way, even he came to his senses. Mirgari became a devotee of the Lord. So much so that he would not even walk on a ant. He would not even kill an ant. So this is the potency of a pure devotee of the Lord. He can eradicate all sinful activity. In the Ishopanishad, they describe the Lord as a Papa Vidhi. A Papa Vidhi means the sun acts as a what? Antiseptic, yes. It can act as the sun shines on dirty places, isn't where there's urine and stool. But does the sun become contaminated? No. On the contrary, it purifies all the places like that. So a Papa Vidim. So this is the nature of the pure. He can eradicate all sinful reactions. Like that. So coming back to this verse where Swayambhuva Manu is instructing Dhruva Maharaj, anger, control your anger. Anger is described in Bhagavad Gita, Kama Isha, Krodha Isha, Raja Guna. It's in the lower modes. Anger means the lower modes of nature have taken over, have possessed us, and we become angry. Of course, anger can also be used in a positive way. Also, and they give examples of that in the Nectar of Instruction. Isn't it? Prabhupada gives of three great personalities who used anger in a very positive way. You know? Hanuman, yes, Hanuman. Who else? Arjuna, yes. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Isn't when Jagai and Madai attacked Nityananda, Lord was seething with anger. He was there running to the spot. He didn't want to hear anything. He was just about to summon and kill them on the spot. That's how angry he was. But that anger was for the deliverance of those two brothers, the most sinful brothers, Jagai and Madai. They said when Lord Chaitanya embraced them, his whole body from golden turned to black. It was all the sins. He absorbed all the sinful reaction. They became devotees after that. Yeah, what to speak of a snake, a poisonous snake given a mercy by Narad Muni. So all living entities. Generally we speak of a snake and we want first thoughts we get paranoid, isn't it? Snake or scorpion. Of course, Shastra says we can kill those, but also we have to, on more, we should identify what snake is that. Is it if it's a harmless garden snake? Why should we kill it? That comes sometimes. Yeah, we be like a bit knowledgeable about these things and then just kill unnecessarily, because Bhagavad Gita, Vidya Vanaya Sampana Brahmani Kavani Ashti Suni Cheva Sapakacha Pandita Sama. We have to see with that vision, equal vision. Sama Dashina, a learned and gentle Brahmana he sees a Brahmana, he sees a cow, he sees an elephant, he sees a dog and a dog eater. Now if you look at them, they are on different social, isn't? The Brahmana is on the top of the ladder, the social order, mode of goodness. The cow is in the mode of goodness. The Hare Krishna. Sri Radhanath ki, Sri Giriraj Govardhan ki, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki, Shri Prabhupada ki. Yes, the dog. And there are different levels of consciousness and different levels of, in terms of social order. But the sadhu is seeing, what's his equal vision? What is he seeing equally? He's seeing Samadashana, he's seeing the super soul present in all this, and that's what he's respecting that. Therefore, the Vaishnav is one of the 26 qualities of, he's a friend to all. He's a friend. Surit means a friend. He's a friend to all living entities. Actually, we should be friends to all living entities. Yeah, and that way, if we become friends to all living, then where's this question of animosity and identifying with this body and saying, oh, he's not he's black, he's white, he's green, therefore we should have some kind of dissension or American or whatever. So today we see that everything is so, because of that, isn't this based on the bodily concept? Like Dhruva also, he was defending his brother, and that strong bond of blood is very strong. Of course, it's justified according to Manu Samhita. If one kills, then he has to be killed. That's the law. But Dhruva went overboard. He was just killing everybody. He was just killing everyone, and therefore Manu had to admonish him. Cool, calm down. You're overdoing it. It's all right. You killed one. Life for a life. But why the whole yaksha? So he just went on this rampage. This rage of and this anger is such a deep thing, isn't it? It's brings so much of our inner, our adrenaline flows, and this releases so much toxin, isn't it? And that anger, when we manifest that anger, we lose control of ourselves, like is described in the Bhagavad Gita. What's that verse? 62, 63. What is that? Chapter 2? No? Diyatovya sampumsam. While contemplating the object, remember? What happens? One develops attachment, yes. And then in the next verse it says, Krodat bhavati samoha, samohat smiti vibrama, smiti brahmsat buddhina so, buddhina sat pranasyati. These are the corollaries of anger. What happens in going downwards? From anger, complete delusion arises, and from delusion, bewilderment of memory. And when memory is bewildered, the intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. So this is the detriment of anger, how it can cause, sometimes in a mood of weakness. It's kind of actually a weakness in us, and sometimes we're prone to anger, or sometimes due to some psychological maker, we have this anger. We're born sometime with this anger. People have multiple complexities, very complex. And the slightest provocation, they will get angry. They will get angry. If you look at somebody, why are you looking at me? You ever counted that? What you looking at? They say like that, they kind of conscious of themselves, and you're looking at them, and they want to get belligerent in it. So this is we confront all kinds of. Today we see there's a therapy for that now. All these famous film stars have made movies, anger management. You've seen that, some of those anger management, and all the prominent stars who were victims of that also. They portrayed this just to help. Of saying this, they want to help people who were similar to their situation, how to come out of it. So they have therapy, like a group like this, sit and each one shares his realization. Like when you go to Alcoholics Anonymous, they also drug rehab, and they all meet at least once a month, and they get therapy like that, and they speak about, by speaking about these things, it lessens the burden, and by association, when you think, oh, I was not so bad, he was bad, isn't like that. My anger was not as bad as the extreme that he was in, but nevertheless they all share that, and in that way they become less angry. They gradually come out of that situation. But Maharaj Parikshit gives a Maharaj Parikshit also was a victim of anger, isn't? And that was the cause of his being cursed to die. When he was hunting in the field, or went to his kingdom, and he went to a hermitage, he was very thirsty, and he wanted some water, and he went to this hermitage, and this one sadhu was deep in meditation, and he felt he was being disrespected. The king comes to your place and you ignoring him. He felt like that, and he looked around, he saw a dead snake, picked it up with his sword and garlanded the sadhu like out of anger, in his anger. But and then later the son of that Brahmana didn't see who did it, but he cursed. Whoever has done this to my father, I curse him too. In anger also. In anger he cursed. And that's the day, Prabhupada said, this is the day Kali Yuga began, when the Brahmanas became degraded like that. Cursed this king. And nevertheless the curse had to come to pass, and Maharaj Parikshit. But he gives a very nice instruction in the Srimad Bhagavatam. He's speaking to Sukadeva Goswami. Shinvanta Shradaya Nityam Grinantascha Svachastitam Kalena Nati Drilgena Bhagavan Vishate Ridi. Persons who hear Srimad Bhagavatam regularly and are always taking the matter very seriously will have the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, manifested in their hearts. Ridi means heart. In the hearts. Within how long? Within a short time. That's the potency of hearing. Or even chanting Hare Krishna. The hearing and chanting of can mitigate all these ailments. Nasta Praisha Bhadreshu, hearing Bhagavatam regularly once. One gradually gives up all these things, these anathas and whatever's becoming troubling him. Yes. So this anger is very, very deep. Yes, it is. And we see in the case of us, like Durvasa Muni, who is the personification of anger. Durvasa Muni, although he was a rishi, a very powerful, we call him a sadhu, yes, but Muni, he was a Muni. But he could get angry very quickly, because they said he was an incarnation of Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva gets angry and he gets easily pleased. Lord Shiva has that, he's Ashutosh, means he gets very angry and he can get easily pleased. So Durvasa also had an altercation with Ambarish Maharaj, just for some petty thing. Same petty, isn't that? Ambarish Maharaj wanted to break his fast. It was approaching the time, and he drank some water, and Durvasa Muni, by his mystic sense, was disrespecting him, and he summoned a demon to kill. In that anger, he summoned a demon to kill Ambarish. But Ambarish is a devotee, and the Lord protected him, and immediately he killed that demon with his chakra. And then Ambarish, and of course Durvasa Muni started to run after Ambarish. All over the universe they went. in anger. In anger. But here we see a case of like a contrast of Amrish Maharaj is very humble, humility, and Durvasa Muni, anger, proud of his position. Although Amrish Maharaj was a king, but he had the attributes of a devotee, and we read that, isn't he? He had all the qualities of a devotee. He was walking to the temple, used his feet to walk to it, use his bed to bow down to the deity, use his hands to worship the deity. All his body, every aspect of his body was used in the service of the Lord. Therefore the Lord will protect such person. He was a devotee. So yeah, in the end the Lord had to summon his chakra, was prepared to even vanquish Durvasa Muni. So Durvasa had to go back to Ambarish and pray, beg for forgiveness. And only then was he reprieved from the chakra, from the onslaught of the chakra. Like that. So this anger is such a detrimental, can destroy us in so many ways. Even somebody very elevated person. Another is Daksha. We just read a few chapters ago, isn't it? Daksha, the father of Sati, who is the father-in-law of Lord Shiva. He felt Lord Shiva had not offered his obeisances to him, and he felt insulted. And because of that, he was, cursing Lord Shiva in so many ways, insulting him. So in that way, this aparad, he committed great aparad due to his anger. He could not contain his anger. Therefore, Rupa Goswami, he advises us, one who wants to control his senses, wants to be a Goswami. Goswami applies to everybody. Anybody who can control his senses is a Goswami, not necessarily somebody carrying a danda or wearing saf. No. All of you, all of us who can control our senses are Goswami. Goswami, go means the senses to control. Anybody who can control his senses. That's the word. Anyone who can control his senses. The actions of anger, tolerate the urges of the tongue, belly, genitals, the actions of speech. So, yeah, again, there is advising. Anger is one of the key that will be detrimental for our progress in spiritual life. So we have to be very, very, take the message of Rupa Goswami, very vacho, this vacho vegam. Vegam means all these pushings. Vacha vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jiva vegam, udara pasta vegam, eitan vegam, yovisheta dhira. Dhira means a sober. Sober means a thoughtful person. And we all, it can apply to all of us. We have to be thoughtful, sober, in executing our, how our dealings with one another. Anger. Sometimes anger, we want to sometimes correct somebody. It can, the way we use anger can either destroy that person. You can have constructive criticism of somebody. There's a destructive way. There's two ways. Where you deal with somebody, you can destroy them, but where you can also, in a very calculated way, in a very constructive way, and be firm, and you can still, that the devotee maintains his equilibrium, that he doesn't, or any person for that matter, they don't become destroyed by that. Especially in, we see in our interaction, that we deal with devotees, sometimes we maybe lean on them too heavy, and they want to run away from here, they want to leave, And Prabhupada, he had many letters coming about devotees being mistreated by the leaders, and Prabhupada would write letters encouraging them. We spend gallons of blood to make one devotee. We spend gallons of blood, Prabhupada said like that, to make one devotee, one Vaishnava. And in 1 second we can destroy them. Yeah. We can. Yeah. So, so all these things we have to be very mindful of, and and how we deal with these things. Yeah. So yeah, very wonderful instruction about anger management. Of course, nowadays they have, you can go for therapy, but the best way is to become a devotee. Give your life to Krishna, and that way you don't have to spend all your money on psychiatric treatment. And isn't the psychiatrists, the doctors, the lawyers they are the big. They make the most money. You go to a lawyer, a doctor, or a psychiatrist. There was a survey done in America, maybe 20, 30 years ago. And they said America at that time had like 200 million population. America at that time was the height of its power. Men were going to the moon, and they just won. They were in wars with, just after the Japanese War, when they discovered this bomb that killed so many people. They were like a threat to the world. A very powerful nation. But the downside was, he said, every 1 in 3 persons of the 200 million at some point in his life went to a psychiatrist, visited a shrink. So if you think about that, 1 in 3 persons, what does it say? It's a troubled, sick society. It is a sick society. And we see that now when one guy goes berserk, he takes one high assault rifle and he goes to school and just blasts. Almost every month, isn't we hearing stories like that? Reading of stories. So what does it say about this? In technology, in terms of all these things, they are so advanced, but in terms of certain things, they're lacking so much behind. And therefore, the void is there that we have to give them Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada said, he made this comparison, America is blind, but India is lame. He said the lame can carry the blind. The blind man cannot see, but the lame man can carry him on his shoulder and guide him. You follow? The lame and they can combine. And therefore Prabhupada, he spent a lot of his energy in America. He knew that the Americans, they wanted, they so much wanted, they needed this. And Prabhupada attracted so many wonderful devotees who became devotees from that. And we see that most of our prominent leaders are coming from this, right? So Prabhupada, that impact. So Prabhupada is the anger management therapy. He was the counselor in so many ways. He cured our. He said the panacea, the word is to cure that disease, treatment for our disease. What is the panacea? The cure. Chanting Hare Krishna, take prasadam, have Harinam, be happy. Like I just came in and everyone was just very jubilant, isn't dancing. And so this is the nature of the holy name can do that to us. We forget all our inhibitions about everything. Isn't we just forget. Yeah. Not that it won't go away, but it's at least the holy name takes prominence. Not that we won't feel some pain or some difficulties, but we won't make a big thing about it. It'll be like kind of secondary. Our real primary goal is to go back home, back to Godhead. Back to Godhead, yes, that is the goal. That is, and we'll pay any price for that. Prabhupada said, we have to voluntarily accept suffering. Sometimes devotees voluntarily accept some suffering for a higher purpose, for the pleasure of Krishna. He defined Krishna consciousness like that. Undertaking some suffering, voluntarily accepting some suffering for Krishna's pleasure. Yes, like the gopis of Vrindavan, isn't? When Krishna had a headache, Narad Muni goes to them and he says, Krishna has a headache and only the dust from your feet will cure him. And without any reservation, they said yes, not thinking of it, they will go to hell like the yogis and before that. No. Spontaneously said, if our dust from our feet cures it and we go to hell, then it's so fine. Long as Krishna is happy, he's cured. So this is the mode. Therefore the gopis, in the nectar of instruction, we see the gopis, they take prominence over all the, and of course Srimati Radharani is the epitome of bhakti of the gopis in the nectar of instructions, the hierarchy of who's greater, isn't it? Mathura, Vrindavan, Govardhan Hill, Radhakund, and higher, it's going higher, Radharani. She's the queen of Vrindavan, Rajan. So, like that, we take shelter of these great personalities, and our anger will subside. Not that it'll go away, but it'll lessen, or we'll use it more positively. Anger can be used, yes, if somebody comes here, like, isn't just recently, about 2 years ago, there was rioting and there was a threat that the temple is in danger. So we had to lock everything and be very focused on what's happening outside. We were so focused on that, isn't? And we were prepared to even defend the temple. Yes, anger. One has to, like Krishna spoke to Arjuna, just to make him angry. Krishna provoked Arjuna, provoked him to make him angry so he could fight. He provoked him. Yes. But so Krishna could speak Bhagavad Gita. But that anger was very positive. Arjuna had to fight. Although he was killing, seemingly it seemed war was there, but fight for the right cause, fight for Dharma. So Krishna's request, Krishna's desire was Arjuna fight and kill, if it means killing. Yes, that is war. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Is there any questions? Or I'll just share one minute before about anger. If I could, my personal realization one time during my wild days, we were coming from some place, and as I got into the car, there was a group of guys surrounded me, and it was, they said, yeah, you were the cause of something happened, some incident happened a few months ago, and they want to take me away in their car. And my brother-in-law was sitting in this car, and he saw the action. He came very forcefully, pulled me into the car, said, let's go. And we drove off, and they were following us. There's two cars, and they're coming right into where we were staying, in Spingo Beach. And I said, oh, this is nice. They're coming into our den. Very nice. So the moment we got into the driveway, my brother-in-law, he reversed, and he rammed the first car. And these guys came out with baseball bats, hockey sticks, and I was sitting on this side, and they hit against the glass. And they mean, you can see they mean business. They want to kill, isn't? So in that fury, in that rage, I got out of the car, and I saw a big boulder like this. Somehow it was there, and I threw it in the car, in the back, and I just heard, they say, Yama! I can hear them shouting for the mothers, and they took off. That quick thinking, that element of surprise, they thought, we wouldn't do anything. That element of and they took off. They just drove away with the smashed glass. Uh, so anger, what you can do when you're angry, it just, when your life is in danger, when you have to do to protect yourself, you can do some crazy things. Isn't I wouldn't be sitting here to tell you the story. Yeah, anyway, this is all my personal story, but the point I'm making, what anger can do, isn't anger can, and see Dhruva, what he did, isn't out of that anger, and of course they provoked him also. They were like all surrounded him, isn't if you read and in desperation he had to defend himself. Hare Krishna. You have a question? Anybody? Shil Prabhupada ki Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki